Two Broke Betters, presented by Garrett Hollenbach and Dallas Walker.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Episode 14 of Two Broke Betters. I'm your host, Garrett. This is my co-host, Dallas.
Yo.
Today, we're going to be talking about the Final Four. I think we can also give our national championship pick from this Final Four, but also we're going to discuss who we think is an early candidate or are some early candidates to be a national champion next season. If you want to go ahead and place a future whenever those open up for next season, I think we've got some good candidates for you. But starting out, let's talk about Villanova and Kansas. The big storyline here is Moore tore his Achilles in the final seconds of their last game. But you want to know what? I've said it since the start of the tournament. Villanova was one of my championship favorites. I'm going to continue to ride with Villanova. I think Kansas played a cupcake region where the toughest team they honestly played seed-wise was a 4 seed in Providence, who was considered to be the luckiest team in college basketball. I think Gillespie is a huge advantage in this matchup because Harris, on the other hand, is not a great point guard. I think Gillespie can take advantage of that. And on top of that, I said this, I think last video, or I think the winner of Villanova and Houston, I was going to take whoever won that to win the national championship. So I'm going to take Villanova plus 4.5 here.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like Villanova as well. Even with the loss of him, 14-point game per can't talk. 14-point per game score. That's tough to lose, but even without him, they dropped. So I don't think it makes them like any worse relative to the Big East, which if you see what Kansas has played, they played two of the top Big East teams in Creighton and Providence. And those teams played well with them. And Creighton didn't even have one of their best players. So I also like this Villanova team. You said it already, Gillespie, matchup nightmare to anyone. And another thing, I think Dixon can match up really well with McCormick, big body, can grab boards. I'm with you on this Villanova squad.
Yeah, and I also think Villanova likes to get out and run. They like to run the 5-out offense. That's going to put McCormick in some weird defensive opportunities and mismatches. So also, I also took under 133 in this matchup. Here's a little bit for you. Kansas, not known for being a great defensive team, but their defensive efficiency has went up to .847 in their last 3 matchups. Villanova, .863, which these numbers don't really mean a lot to anybody, but that would have them at top 3 in the country in defensive efficiency. Nova has let up more than 70 points once in all of March. So that's why I took under 133 here. Both teams clicking at an all-time high in March on defense.
Yeah, I also like the under here just because it kind of rides with the narrative of our pick. I don't see a shootout boding well for Villanova. So, yeah, I also like the under in that one.
Yeah. All right. On to the main event of the Final Four. I don't know if you've heard this. It's the first time they've matched up ever in the NCAA tournament. You heard it?
I heard it.
It's as if ESPN, CBS, and all of March Madness's companies has not shoved down our throats that this will be their first NCAA tournament matchup ever.
Wait, is this Coach K's last year?
I don't know. Is it? It's Duke and North Carolina, both red hot, scorching the nets all of March. Their offensives have been on fire. I'm going to take Duke -4 here.
That's what you got?
Well, I got some more points. I was going to let you get in on yours.
Okay. Oh, my bad. I've also got Duke -4, sadly. Like we said, or like I just said, Coach K's last year, they're not winning the ship, but they're winning this game because they got to let him go to the national championship at least. I also looked up past bracket history, and in the past 10 years, at least one of the favorites has won by at least 5 or more points. So, yeah, I'm with Duke.
Yeah. I didn't go very analytical or statistical on this one. If this game comes down to it, it's going to be close at the end. The refs are going to give it to Duke.
Yeah.
And on top of that, for some reason, if it is close, Duke has been on fire in the final minutes of games. Close out, hand in their face, they're hitting shots. For some odd reason, it doesn't matter if it's banking in, it doesn't matter what kind of crazy luck they're having. They are making shots in the final minutes of games to separate themselves from their opponents. For the total here, I took over 151. Duke's on the flip side of Duke and North Carolina's offense is playing the best they've played all season. Duke's defense has been awful. UNC's defense has been somewhat improved, but it's not to the level of how bad Duke's defense has been. Also, UNC has stunk defensively in these matchups with Duke. In both matchups this year, Duke has been able to score 80 or more points. So I'm going to go with the over 151. I expect for UNC to keep it somewhat close, like a respectable game, but it's going to be very high scoring because UNC does not have the defensive firepower to keep up with Duke.
Yeah, I'm with you because, like you said, both of these defense pretty average. And not only that, these offenses are super good. Duke, #1 in offensive efficiency. UNC's top 20, I believe. And I had one more thing. Mind blank, whatever. I like both of those offenses. Keep it moving. Keep it high. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. North Carolina plays at a super high tempo. And so, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, and Duke isn't afraid to get out and run. If you want to play a fast-paced game, they'll play a fast-paced game with you. Moving on, let's go ahead and make our decision. Who do you think is winning the national championship out of these 4 teams?
Out of these 4 teams, who do I think will be the champion? Not UNC. Not Duke. A coach over the age of 70 has never won a national championship. Duke fans, sorry. I think it's going to be Kansas, and I think Villanova loses and covers.
Okay. I am on the flip side of that. I'm going to go Villanova. Basically, every single team since I've been watching has had an insane backcourt and guard play. I think the team with the best backcourt and guard play is Villanova. Gillespie, it was more in Gillespie, but Gillespie and the other members of their backcourt are, I'd say, head and shoulders above the rest of the backcourts. I know Kansas has Braun and Abaji, but they don't have a very good point guard. I think the point guard's the main position you need in this. So I'm going to go with the Villanova Wildcats as your 2022 national champions.
So we just hating on my boy Remy like that.
All right. The next part of this video, if you want to lock in your futures for next year, here are our predictions for national championship contenders. Everyone has sort of picked up on Arkansas being a good team. We made this a topic a few days ago. Arkansas was able to pick up a 5-star and a transfer since then. So now my pick doesn't look as great. It looks sort of like, okay, you're taking the #1 team in the country. Like, they're going to be the number one team, because here's my reasoning. They have two players who are very, very close on whether or not they should go to the draft or not. They've got Jalen Williams and JD Notae. Both players, very, very good college players, but you don't really know how they're going to translate to the NBA. Jalen Williams will be a little bit undersized. Notae, not really jumping off the page at you athletically. He's a good basketball player, but I don't think he's a super freak athlete. He's a little bit undersized for whatever position he's going to play in the NBA. On top, Arkansas had two big five-star commitments from Walsh, who I think is a do-it-all small forward, can make plays offensively and defensively, and Nick Smith, bucket getter, shooting guard. On top of that, they got a third five-star commitment. And then last night they got transfer Brazil from Missouri, who's a freak of nature athlete. I don't think Mizzou had really tapped into all his potential yet. He has all the athleticism. He's got a nice shooting stroke. If you can get him to be a good player, get some of the fundamentals down with him, he will be a great player. Possible big returns. They already had a nice little core to their roster. Now they're just looking at getting that star power back with Williams and Notae and some of these incoming freshmen. So there's one of them, Arkansas. My second one, the Baylor Bears. I think they're going to lose Sohan. They already had Kendall Brown announced. Akinjo announced he is putting his name in the draft. I sort of expect for him to come back. Matthew Mayer can also come back. On top of that, I already have LJ Cryer coming back. Flagler should be back. I'll just say JTT. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. Come back. As well as Flo Thamba should be back for another year. And they have a top 5 recruit coming in Keontae George. I expect for Baylor to be one of the top teams and to possibly cut down the nets next March.
I like him. I'm not going to have as much depth as you. One of my picks was also Baylor, but my other one is actually UCLA, mostly because I think they have a good amount of people returning, and I saw they got like the third recruit. I think his name's Amani Bailey.
Yeah, Amari Bailey.
Yeah. So, yeah, rolling with them as well.
Yeah, UCLA should be good again. They're another one I think sort of like Arkansas. They have Jaime Jaquez and Juzang, who are both great college players, but sort of in between or not if they should go to the NBA. They're a lot like Arkansas for me with players who are very good in college, but could come back, could not come back, and they've got some good players coming in. All right, well, there it is. There are our final 4 betting picks, our national championship picks, and our very early 2023 national championship picks. Hope everyone has a great time watching this year's Final Four. It's an all blue blood Final Four. Unfortunately, my blue blood could not participate. We couldn't even participate in the round of 32 blue blood matchups. So, hope everyone has a great weekend. Remember to follow us on social media. We're giving out our daily picks for NBA, NCAA, basically everything on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us at 2BrokeBetters. Hope everyone has a great weekend.
Love you.